Welcome to Inside USA Today. We're journeying back in time, not just a few decades, but centuries. We're going to the 1400s, a period long before European explorers ever dreamed of a new world. This was an era when incredible, often forgotten, civilizations thrived across the American continent. Forget the familiar stories of Columbus or the conquistadors for a moment. Instead, picture vast and sophisticated societies that shaped the land, created intricate cultures, and built communities, reflecting incredible ingenuity and a deep connection with nature. This is the story of the Americas before 1492. In North America, diverse and resilient nations flourished: the Iroquois Confederacy, or Haudenosaunee. In the Northeast, developed a powerful political alliance with a constitution that would later inspire America's own founding fathers. Their longhouses, built from the forests around them, housed entire clans, fostering a strong sense of community. Further south, the Cherokee people cultivated the fertile lands, mastering agriculture and creating a rich spiritual tradition that wove through every aspect of their lives. Out on the Great Plains, tribes like the Sioux were masters of their environment. They followed the massive bison herds, their lives intricately linked to the rhythm of the seasons and the movements of these majestic animals. Their culture was one of mobility, resourcefulness, and a profound respect for the natural world that sustained them. And in the arid Southwest, the Navajo and Pueblo peoples built incredible lives in a seemingly harsh desert. Their multi-story adobe homes, built into cliffs and mesas, stand today as monuments to their architectural genius and their ability to create sustainable communities in a challenging landscape. These weren't isolated groups. They were connected by extensive trade networks that crisscrossed the continent. Goods, ideas, and stories traveled thousands of miles, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, from the East Coast to the Rockies. The Mississippi Valley, for example, was home to the Mississippian culture, famous for its enormous earthen mounds. Cities like Cahokia, near modern-day St. Louis, were bustling urban centers, larger than London at the time, with tens of thousands of complex social structures and a vibrant ceremonial life. These mounds, some as tall as a 10-story building, were the centers of political and religious power, testaments to a highly organized society. The people here weren't. They're surviving. They were building monuments, creating beautiful pottery and art, and studying the stars. Now, let's travel south to Central America, where the 1400s saw the spectacular rise of the Aztec Empire, centered around their magnificent capital city, Tenochtitlan. Built on an island in the middle of a lake, the Aztecs engineered one of the most impressive urban centers in world history. Imagine a city of causeways, canals, and floating gardens called chinampas, which allowed them to feed a massive population. Tenochtitlan was a city of gleaming pyramids, bustling markets, and a highly organized society with a powerful military, a complex religious system, and a rich artistic tradition. Their knowledge of astronomy was so advanced they developed a calendar more accurate than the one used in Europe at the time. The Aztecs were a powerhouse, a civilization at its absolute peak, governing a vast empire through a combination of tribute, trade, and military might. Their influence was felt all across Mesoamerica, a beacon of power and sophistication. Further south, nestled in the towering Andes Mountains of Peru, another great empire was expanding its reach: the Inca. In the 1400s, the Inca were rapidly consolidating their power, creating the largest empire in the pre-Columbian Americas. Their capital, Cusco, was considered the navel of the universe. What's truly breathtaking about the Inca is their mastery of engineering, especially in such a challenging mountain environment. They built an astonishing network of roads and bridges, stretching over 25,000 miles, connecting every corner of their vast territory. They constructed intricate terrace farms, called Andeans, that climbed the steep mountainsides, allowing them to grow crops at high altitudes. And their stonework is legendary. Hacing no mortar. They cut massive stones to fit together so perfectly that you go in, even slide a piece of paper between them. Places like Machu Picchu still leave us in awe of their skill and their deep understanding of their environment. The Inca Empire was a marvel of organization, administration, and engineering brilliance, a society that had truly conquered the mountains. So, what does this all mean? It means that the story of America didn't begin with a fleet of ships from Europe. The continent was already home to millions of people living in complex, dynamic, and thriving societies. These civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of agriculture, astronomy, engineering, and governance. They created breathtaking art, developed profound spiritual beliefs, and lived in a sustainable balance with their environment. Much of this history was almost lost, erased by conquest and disease, or carried on only through oral traditions and the artifacts left behind in the earth. The ceremonial mounds, the cliff dwellings, the road networks, the pyramids, they are all whispers of these powerful pasts. The 1400s in the Americas were a period of incredible innovation, cultural richness, and human achievement. Exploring these pre-contact civilizations reveals a deeper, more complex, and more complete story of this continent. It's a story of resilience, ingenuity, and a connection to the land that holds lessons for us even today. The legacy of the Iroquois, the Aztecs, the Inca, and countless other peoples is woven into the very fabric of the Americas. Their achievements and their stories are not just a prelude to modern history. They are a foundational part of it. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this glimpse into America's forgotten past as fascinating as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to Inside USA for more deep dives into the stories that have shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.